I am putting myself to the ultimate test and I am grading my own assessments and my own concerns so far throughout the season. We all know the Colorado Buffaloes are on a bye week this week, and I thought it would be a perfect time to go back to some of my old videos and to check to see what I was thinking and to see how I feel currently today. So I am going to grade them. So for those of you that know, grading is something that I do on a normal basis, and I thought, what better way to self-reflect on my own assumptions and grade myself on some of the things I said in my videos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take from two different videos. So I made a video that I believe released in May that was about concerns that I was having at the time about the 2024 Buffaloes team. And then I made another video when I did my content creator series that released in August, where I talked about my concerns for the 2024 season, or that was more talking about things that I'm going to be paying attention to for the season. So because we're on a bye week, I thought it would be cool to grade myself and to see how I think and to see how I feel now. So I have my trusty iPad here and I'm going to go through and I'm going to grade myself. I'm going to be self-reflective and I'm going to grade myself on the other side of this. A couple of things I want to mention here. I am going to try to do my best to either tag, pin, link, or something the videos that I am going to be using to talk about this through. The other thing is I went back and forth for probably a day or two to figure out how I wanted to make this video. Did I want to take the time and make this a highly analytical thing where I'm going through stats and digging through all these things? And you know what? I decided to just trust my eye test, because when I made the videos, I was trusting my eyes and I was trusting on what I was seeing, how I was feeling. I've now seen 5 games. And so I now feel like I have the right to be self-reflective and grade myself on how I feel. I was about to say the Steelers on how I feel Colorado. I said that because I just made my Steelers video that's going to release about Dallas. But anyways, at this time, I am making a video and I'm grading myself on all of my Colorado predictions. So I will say to you now, I am going to have to look down because, like I said, I have my iPad, so I need to look and see what I'm asking and what I'm trying to do. But overall, I think this is going to be fun. So let's get into it. So one of the first concerns I had in May was about the Twitter interaction. So I don't know if you all remember, but back in May, there's a lot of things happening on Twitter. There was some clapback happening. There was some Twitter spaces that were started to defend people, and all these things were happening. And I said in my video, like, I'm concerned that we are so worried about what everybody else has to say about us. I don't like it. I feel like Coach Prime is still talking about things that don't matter in press conferences, and I think players are still answering questions that we really shouldn't be paying attention to. I feel like the noise gets to us, even if we want to act like it doesn't get to us. So I'm going to give myself a B on that. It was a good call out. It was a good moment. So I'm just going to give myself a B. So the next thing on the list is replacing what we lost. So at this time, we had lost a couple of things in the transfer portal. I believed at the time the right tackle was something I was concerned about. Losing Dylan Edwards is something I was concerned about. And I'm going to be honest here. I feel like this is kind of incomplete. I'm not sure if we've replaced the right tackle and if we replaced Dylan Edwards, quite frankly, because the offensive line to me is still kind of, trying to figure itself out. So I'm not really sure on that. So I'm going to cheat and I'm going to give that an incomplete. The other thing I put was Big 12 teams being together for a while. The truth is we've only played Baylor and UCF. So that's kind of like, I'm going to have to give that an incomplete because I feel like this is going to be the meat and potatoes of the schedule. So that's kind of an incomplete. The spring game was a big thing for me. And I was very concerned at the spring game because I felt like it was a failed opportunity for Colorado to get together and figure out their offensive line. Come to find out, I was absolutely correct about the spring game not being a thing that we missed that opportunity to put in different lineups in our offensive line there. And you want to know how I know that? Because we are on a bye week and I think we've had either 2 or 3 different variations of offensive linedom so far. And so that lets me know that we missed that opportunity in the spring game to really do that. So I am going to give myself an A+ there because I called that out. I called that then and there. So I'm going to give myself an A+ on that. The other thing I mentioned in my concern video is I was concerned that other teams were being more prepared to stop the run than we were. And the truth is, I feel like this is another incomplete. I don't really know yet. I feel like the schedule was made in such a way where I saw us play North Dakota State. I have my thoughts about that. Then I watched us play Nebraska. Then I watched us play Colorado State. And then I watched us play, who did we play? Baylor. And then I watched us play UCF. So it's like we did great against UCF, but I also remember what we did against the other teams. So I'm going to give myself a solid B here of it being a concern and it being something that I'm worried about. If it wasn't for UCF, I would probably give myself a C. But because with UCF, I have to add all the other games that we've played, I'm going to give myself a solid B here. The other thing that concerns me, and I'm not 100% sure as the making of this video because I tried very hard not to look for stats, is I do believe teams are still running the ball very well on this defense. So it's not like this defense is like shutting anybody out. So that's why I'm going to give myself a solid B there. So the next thing that I mentioned was how it was going to be a game of dependencies, how I didn't feel like we were paying attention to how dependent football was. We took a lot of time saying Travis and Shador, which is great, but there's so many dependencies that happen in football. And so I was calling out the concerns I have with us not thinking through all the other dependencies that make a team and things like that. So in calling, and then I wrote in my notes here that I said we have a tough school playing North Dakota State, and then we have an important game against Nebraska, which I was concerned about. I mentioned Colorado State, but I didn't say anything about them. And then I mentioned that Baylor was going to be a tough game. So this was all in May. So you know what? I am giving myself an A on that because I called that, and everything that I said in that at that point, as far as North Dakota State being tough, Nebraska me being concerned, and then mentioning Colorado State, but then saying Baylor is really building something and it had me worried, I was spot on with that. So I will give myself an A for that as well. So the other thing that I know, as I said before, I'm scrolling through and I'm grading myself. I took notes on my own video. I went back. I'm going to tag those videos here some way, shape, or form. And so I am basically just telling you how I feel based off going back and watching my old videos. And the Colorado 2024 video that I posted in August, that I believe I recorded at the last part of July before I started recording for my content creator series. Shout out to everybody that joined me on the content creator series. I mentioned a couple of things. So the first thing I mentioned is offensive line has to give time and not give up 50 sacks this year. And I'm going to be honest. I haven't looked at the stats, but I know for a fact, I believe we gave up 8 sacks against Nebraska. I think we gave up 8 sacks against Baylor. That's 16. And I'm sure we've given up a couple of sacks here and there and in between. We've only played 5 games. I'm going to give myself an A+ there because I think we might be getting close to the 50, depending on the average, might be a little bit under, but I'm going to give myself an A for that call out. Think it was a good call out. Then I have linebackers, mobile QBs, and stopping the run. Again, I feel like I'm going to give myself a B for that right now. Again, what I saw against North Dakota State was concerning. What I saw then against Baylor was a little concerning because we should have lost that game. And then what I saw at UCF was great. So I'm like, calling it out, I think was the right thing. So I'm going to give myself a B there. The other thing I have is health of key players. And so I called this out as being a concern, and I wanted to make sure that people could stay healthy. And because I called this out, I am going to kind of give myself a B-ish because we really haven't had any like major injuries that have impacted this team. We've had some injuries. Every team has. It's football. It is what it is. But I think overall, me calling that out and me making that an important thing, I do think it matters. But yeah, I'm going to give myself a B. I think it was a good recognition, but I don't really have a yay or nay to go on. So I'm going to kind of give myself a B there. The other thing I have is 12 men on the field. And I called that out. I believe we've had a couple of 12 men on the field lately. And gosh, I'm going to give myself an A, but just saying that out loud frustrates me. So I'm going to give myself an A there. And the other thing I have here that I was concerned about is the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator grade. And I grade them separately as teams will start to adjust. And oh man, I think the take was A. I think the take that I had was A+. I think it's real. And I think that what I was seeing and my concerns based off what I knew about Pat Schumer and based off what I didn't know about Livingston, I think I was spot on in making this a thing. Because if they didn't show up and they didn't do some of the things that they were doing, I think we'd be in trouble. So I'm giving myself an A for bringing this up. I do think God, this is a hard one. I think I'm going to give them a B for now. I'm going to give them a B. I'm not giving him an A because, again, you should have lost to Baylor, but Baylor choked that away. So whatever, cool. But you did come out and you did some great things and you looked balanced and you made some adjustments against UCF. And then I didn't like what I saw North Dakota State. Obviously didn't love Nebraska. So I'm going to give them a B. I think the call out is an A, but I'm giving the team a B right now. So those are my opinions on how I feel like my videos have been, with me calling out some things that I was concerned about at the beginning of the year. I tell everybody this. I totally understand that people don't like to hear my football takes because you think you know what I'm thinking and you think that I don't know what I'm talking about. But come to find out, if you go back and you watch my old videos and you watch the things I say in my old videos, you will find that almost every single thing I called out as being important and as being a problem has shown itself to either be a problem or something that's been taken care of. And I just want to pat myself on the back because I was right. So everybody in my comment section that had a concern of what I was saying and this and that and the third, guess what? Come to find out, I actually do know what I'm talking about when I'm assessing situations. So I'm going to pat myself on the back for that. So this is a bye week. Enjoy the bye week. I'll be back next week to talk about a little bit of Kansas State, give my predictions, give my thoughts and things like that. I would like to know if anybody watches this video and then goes and looks at stats. I would like to know what the stats say we're doing. I would like to know how we are ranked according to stats. Where are we in rushing yards? Where are we total offense? Where are we total defense? How many sacks have we allowed? Because again, I use the eye test here because I am proving a point that I don't need stats to back up my own claims. I can grade myself based off what I'm seeing. And that is what I did in this video. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if I've graded myself wrong in your opinion. But I just thought it would be cool to kind of be self-reflective and to grade my old content to see how I really think and how I really feel now that we're 5 weeks into the season.